Hello everyone, Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem, and happy Ramadan everyone. And today is the first broadcast live. I am here from my Rockville studio in Maryland, USA, and this is Dr. Afshan Hashmi, your best selling author, radio and TV personality, and friends. I will be talking little bit about Ramadan, and there will be very interesting things, so just hang on. And before I start the program, I want to tell you that this program will be syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. So if you give me sponsorships, just imagine your product will be promoted in such a grand way in a very reasonable price, and I finance these programs through sponsorships as well as through sale of these two books. And these two books are Amazon bestsellers, and this one was also hot number one new release on Amazon. And friends, for my this book, I want a movie to be made, so all those Hollywood, Bollywood, Netflix, Amazon, Roku, and whoever makes movies, web series, or TV series, please contact me at Afshan at drafshanhashmi.com. Having said that, friends, now let's talk about little bit about Ramadan. And all through Ramadan, however much every day I will be trying to give this transmission, until and unless it conflicts with some other programs I have to go or attend during Ramadan. So I will be here every day, and most probably from tomorrow I will be putting it at 7 for 45, because 8 o'clock seems to be late. Having said that, friends, what is Ramadan? Ramadan, also spelled Ramazan, is the ninth month of the Islamic calendar, observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, prayer, reflection, and community. A commemoration of Muhammad's first revelation, the annual observance of Ramadan is regarded as one of the five pillars of Islam and lasts 29 to 30 days from one sighting of the crescent moon to the next. Fasting from dawn to sunset is obligatory for all adult Muslims who are not acutely or chronically ill, traveling, elderly, breastfeeding, diabetic, or menstruating. The pre dawn meal is referred to as Sohar, and the nightly feast that breaks the fast is called Iftar. Although fatwas have been issued declaring that Muslims who live in regions with a midnight sun or polar night should follow the timetable of Makkah, it is common practice to follow the timetable of the closest country in which night can be distinguished from day. The spiritual rewards of fasting are believed to be multiplied during Ramadan. Accordingly, Muslims refrain not only from food and drink but also tobacco products, sexual relations, and sinful behavior, devoting themselves instead to salat and recitation of Quran. So this was little bit about Ramadan, and now, friends, I will be reading little bit from my first Quran story book. And it says in the beginning, from this chapter 1, in the beginning, a long, long time ago, there was nothing but a great empty space. There was no earth and no sky. There was no sun and no moon. There was no light anywhere. Everything was covered with darkness. The merciful Allah decided of making the world. He said, be, and the world was made. Allah wanted the world to be beautiful. He spread the earth like a carpet. Then he put mountains on it to hold it down. Above the earth, he made the sky. In the sky, he put two lights, the sun and the moon, and he told the sun to shine in the day and the moon to shine at night. Then Allah put stars in the night sky and told them to shine brightly to help travelers find their way at night. There are many stars in the sky, yet each one is different. Some are small and some are very big. Some twinkle gently and some burn brightly. They are like road signs that guide the travelers to the right place. After that, Allah divided the dry land from the seas. He covered the land with greenery, big trees, small bushes, and colorful flowers. He told the rain to water and plants so that they might grow. After that, he made all kinds of animals, camels, horses, sheep, and elephants. Then he made all kinds of birds, high flying eagles, beautiful peacocks, and sweetly singing nightingales. And he filled the seas with fish and other creatures. The world was beautiful. The earth was green, the sky was blue, and the seas were all shades of green and blue. There were many different animals on earth, many different birds in the sky, and many different fish in the seas. Yet Allah wanted the world to be even more beautiful. Allah made the angels. The angels obey Allah in everything. They are His messengers. They carry His commands to all corners of the world. They see to it that the whole world is running as it should. The world blows where required. The clouds take the rain to the right spots. The rain give water to the fields and greens. And see some beautiful pictures here. Then out of flame of fire Allah created jinn. Some jinn are good and some are bad. Some of them are believers and some unbelievers. Finally Allah decided to make a human being. He collected every kind of soil. He mixed it like a potter's clay. He molded it into the shape of man and breathed his spirit into it. He named the first man Adam. Then Allah made the first woman and named her Hawa or Eve. Allah made the beautiful world and He gave it to a man to live in. So, this was chapter first, and I will be reading from this also in other broadcasts. Having said that, friends, now let me read from the study Quran. So, this is the study Quran, and I'll be reading every day from this study Quran. The opening Al Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Al-Fatiha is considered by the vast majority of scholars to be among the first surahs to have been revealed in Makkah. According to Mujahid, one of the leading scholars among the second generation of Muslims, this surah was revealed in Medina. Most scholars claim that this is impossible. However, as the Muslims would not have been able to perform their required prayers without it, the primary meaning of Al Fatiha is the opening, which indicates the surah's function as the opening of the book and as the first surah to be recited in each cycle rakah of all the canonical prayers, as well as the manner in which it serves as an opening for many functions in everyday Islamic life. It can also be taken as a reference to this surah's ability to open one's breast to faith in God. The Fatiha is often believed to be a synthesis of the Quran's message and to be its most important surah. Hence, it has been given the title al Kitab, mother of the book, a term also applied to other aspects of the Quran and to the celestial and archetype of the Quran, and in fact, all sacred scripture. The mother of the Quran reference to its containing the meaning of the entire Quran. Other titles are the seven oft repeated, the cure, because it is said to have healing powers for both body and soul, and the foundation, because it serves as a foundation for the whole of of the Quran, also known as Surat Al-Hamd, the chapter of praise, and Surat Al-Salah, the chapter of the prayer. The Fatiha is recited at the beginning of each cycle of prayer by all Sunnis and many Shiites. In Shiite law, one is allowed to recite the Fatiha in the third and fourth cycles, or to recite Glory be to God and Praise be to God. There is no God but God, and God is great. It is also recited by Muslims on occasions as diverse as a funeral, a wedding, the birth of a child, the inauguration of an official event, the signing of contracts, and the commencement of an individual endeavor, such as the beginning of a journey. In some lands, funeral services are referred to as Fatiha because they mark an opening from one life to another. Many sayings of the Prophet Muhammad attribute an exalted status to the Fatiha. In one of the Prophet told a man that he would teach him the greatest surah. When asked what it was, the Prophet responded, "It is praise be to God, the Lord of the worlds, the seven often repeated and the mighty Quran that was given." A famous Hadith Qudsi, that is a non Quranic saying of God reported by the Prophet, states, "I have divided the prayer between myself and my servant shall have that for which he prays." When the servant says, "Praise be to God, Lord of the world," God says, "My servant has praised me." When the servant says, "The compassionate, the merciful," God says, "My servant has magnified me." When the servant says, "Master of the day of judgment," God says, "My servant has glorified me." This is my portion, and to him belongs what remains. Seen in the light, the Fatiha is more than the confessional prayer of Muslims. It is a prayer that encapsulates all the metaphysical and eschatological realities of which human beings must remain conscious. God asks human beings to recite it because it contains, in principle, the nature of God and the disposition God wishes them to have towards Him. The Fatiha thus has a threefold structure. The first three verses deal with the nature of God, the middle verse deals with the relationship between God and human beings, and the last three verses deal with the various states of human beings. Many other reports from the Prophet and his companions indicate the great power that Muslims associate with the surah. In one, the Prophet says, "By him in whose hand lies my soul, in neither the Torah, the Psalms, the Gospel, nor the Quran was like of it revealed." According to another saying attributed by some to Mujahid and by others to the Prophet himself, Satan was frightened 4 times when he was cursed by God, when he was expelled from the garden, when Muhammad was sent as a messenger, and when the Fatiha was revealed. The exalted status of the Fatiha has resulted in numerous independent commentaries upon it, some numbering hundreds of pages. Such commentaries, which could be said to constitute a subgenre of Quranic exegesis, often attempt to illustrate the manner in which the whole of the Quran is contained in the surah. According to a famous saying attributed to Ali bin Abi Talib, the Prophet's cousin and son in law, who became the first Imam of Shiite Islam and the fourth Khalifa of Sunni Islam, the whole of the Quran is contained in the Fatiha, the whole of the Fatiha in the Basmala, in the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, the whole of the Bismillah in the Ba, the opening letter, and the whole of the Ba in the diacritical point under the Ba. The point can be understood to represent the first drop of ink from the divine pen, Al Qalam, with which God wrote the archetypes of all things upon the preserved tablet before their descent into the realm of creation. In this sense, just as the Basmala marks the beginning of the Quran, so does it marks the beginning of the creation. So this was little bit from Surah Fatiha, and I will continue this in the second transmission. So do come and listen to this transmission. Having said that, so this was little bit interpretation of Quran from the study Quran. And now, friends, what did you have for Aftari? Aftari is the breakdown of fast, and I had made some vegetable pakoras and some brinjal pakoras, and I had some samosas. And so I will be little bit eating in this segment and talking to you. So now I'll be talking about some from this book, Jasmine and Jinns by Sadia Dehelvi, and it's about the Ramzan chapter, and it is very good. In our homes also, this was these kind of dishes were made, and I try to keep that tradition. So Ramzan, let me drink a little bit of water. Ramzan. As children, we looked forward to Ramzan. Very true. We woke up in the early hours of the morning to join the elders for Sehri, the pre dawn meal. And I would always, get up at Sehri time, in my childhood. And whether I would keep Rosa or not, I would love to get up and eat little bit and then go to sleep. So this reminds me of my childhood and what the culture was in our home. As I said, very similar to Sadia Dehelvi's home. Similar to the midnight feast we had at boarding school, these meals seems exciting, and children are very excited during the Ramadan time to inculcate the practice of fasting. Children were encouraged to observe Ek dal ka roza, which meant eating carefully through the day from one side of the mouth. When I would say, I was very small that I will keep roza, then my mom would and dad would say to keep, one dal ka roza. So this reminds me of that. On sighting the sliver of the Ramazan moon, special delicacies from well-known shops of the old city filled the kitchen. These included khajra, finaya, and unsweetened jalebi, all made with desi ghee. These were soaked in milk a few hours before Sehri, after which the fasting hours began. On the eve of Ramazan, the table in the dining room at home were pushed to one side. A dari chandni, a cotton underlay with a thick sheet covering, was put in its place. Just before Iftar time, a dastarkhan was placed on the chandni, and all the family members would sit around with heads covered, hands folded in prayer. The old black heavy telephone, which had a long cord, was carried to the dining area, and we waited for it to ring. A caller would inform us, Rosa khol lijiye, time to end the fast. This pattern continued well beyond my childhood. I still have no knowledge of the identity of the caller. I presume it was a family acquaintance who lived near Jama Masjid or somewhere in Old Delhi, where sirens and gola sound cannon are still heard at Iftar time. After this phone call, we kids went around screaming Rosa Khollo. This was to inform our staff and their families. We had hung a broken piece of a railway track on a roadside tree beside the staff quarters. We raced against each other to strike it loudly a few times with the help of an iron rod. In Abbas' time and for many years after, food was distributed in large quantities during the month of Ramzan. For this purpose, each evening a large deg of aloo salan along with bundles of khamiri roti arrived from the old city. Aware of this routine, many friends came home, especially to partake of this speciality. My old friend Jamila Apa, a cousin of Ismat Chughtai, would say, Allah Mia wala salan khilado, feed me with God's food. And I also knew Jamila Appa, Jamila Mujib, and I remember she coming to our house also on the rosa time. So these are little bit childhood reminiscences of Sadia Tehlvi, which I can totally relate to. During the rebellion phase of my teenage years, I confess I did not look forward to Ramzan, for it meant adherence to a strict code of conduct. The radio was locked and the television was veiled with a cloth. We were told that the devil is locked and changed during Ramzan. Going to parties or a movie was out of the question. We were almost forced to engage in fast and ritual prayer. If not fasting, we still pretended to and ate discreetly behind closed doors. Amma said it was improper to eat in front of those who were fasting. The Ramzan routine then seemed like a tedious set of rules. I almost began to look forward to getting sick, using even the slightest toothache as an excuse to legitimately escaping fasting. However, on growing older and understanding the relevance of the sacred month, I began to value our childhood training. We were taught to treat Ramzan as a special blessed month. Those days, our Iftar Dastankhan included varieties of sharbat, pakoda, thick colored jalebi, dahi bade, bade, kachalu, and dry chana dal. This was followed by an early wholesome dinner. Aftar continues to be a feast but is far less elaborate than in the olden days. However, dahi bada, chana dal, and kachalu are still on my dastarkhan every evening. So this was, from this book, and I can totally relate to Sadia Delvi. And then I will tell you the recipe, how she made dahi baras, because dahi baras are one of the main ingredients of aftari in our households. So, dahi bada, be it for aftar, high tea, or a dinner party, dahi bada are frequently served on the tables of Dilli walas. Our dahi bada differ from the dahi badas that are available in restaurants and chaat shops. We make dahi bade round and small, whereas vadas are flatter and slightly larger. Some Dilli walas make dahi bada with just split green gram dhuli moong dal, while some mix it with split black gram urad dal and also called safed march. Like most in my family, I use a mixture of both these dal. The measure below should make at least 20 to 25 lemon sized dahi bade, and I have made dahi bada with this recipe. So do take a pen and copy and write this recipe, and later also you can go to my YouTube channel. And for now, it is live on this broadcast is live on YouTube, my Facebook, and then it will be syndicated worldwide to 300 million listeners. So just imagine, friends, if you give me sponsorship, your product will be promoted in such a grand way. So now the recipe of dahi bara: half cup urad dal safed mash, 1 by 4th cup urad dal safed march, 1 by 4th cup dhuli moong dal, 1 by 4 tablespoon baking soda, 1 by 4 teaspoon baking powder, half tablespoon salt. A good way to ensure that the dahi bade are soft is to soak both dals together overnight or at least for a few hours. The second step is to blend them to a thick paste in a mixture. Do not use extra water to blend it, as it will turn too watery. There is a trick to making the perfect dahi bada. After blending dal in the mixture, continue to mix the mixture with a regular or electric egg beater till it almost doubles. Add salt, baking soda, and baking powder to the mixed batter. Drop a tablespoon from the batter into piping hot oil. Flip the bade around and deep fry them till they acquire a golden hue. Place them on paper towel or soak excess oil. Just before serving, soak the bada in lukewarm water for a few minutes. Squeeze the bada softly to drain out water. Now take beaten curd and add a little salt to it. You could also add a teaspoon of sugar. Now add the butter to the curd. Sprinkle the dish with chaat masala. I add a sprinkling of red chili powder to give it an appetizing color, and garnish with fresh chopped coriander leaves. So if you make dahi badas with this recipe, you will love it. And this is the book. So this was the recipe session. Now, friends, like what I always think when what to do and what kind of look I have to give myself, when I come to give these live broadcasts. So, how do you like my look? This head cap is from Amazon, and this is I got online from a Moroccan store, and this is a beautiful kaftan with intricate work. And how I came up with this look, first I with setting the thing I setting spray I sprayed on my face. Then this is the moisturizer, this one, I did that. Then with the beauty blenders, I bronzed my face, and this is the bronzer, the brown one, and the middle one is blusher, and this one is highlighter. And but before doing that, I put little bit of Vita Glow, and this is the primer, but I use it as a foundation. And then I this is the under concealer, and I set it with this powder. This is the setting powder. And then for lip oil, I use this. And then for my eyes, I used you can see I used this pink palette here. And for my eyes, I also used these three pencils, and also used this color eyeliner. And this is the then I did bronzer and blusher. And I this is the press powder I used. And then this is the lip color, and then I used this lipstick here, this color lipstick from Kylie Lipstick. So just think how much preparation it takes to come on a live broadcast. So, friends, I would request you to give me sponsorship, as well as please go and buy these two books. And through these two sale of these two books and sponsorship, I sponsor these kind of programs. And for this book, I want a movie to be made. So all those Hollywood, Bollywood, and whoever makes movies, TV serial, web series, please contact me at afshan@afshanhashmi.com. And these two books were Amazon bestsellers, and this one was also hot number one new release on Amazon. Having said that, friend, do write to me in comments what did you have for your aftari. Aftari is the breakdown of uh, fast, and I said I made these pakoras, and if you want recipes, do write to me. And these are the brinjal pakoras, and these two I made myself, and this samosa I got from a shop. So having said that, friends, now friends, uh, did you make kachalu? We usually make fruit chaat, but today I didn't make fruit chaat, but I made a lassi, salt lassi with the yogurt, and I will give in one of those coming programs where I give recipes. I will give recipes, and then there was this very interesting. Very interesting article I found in Harper's Bazaar, Arabia, and it was of April 13, 2021. And it says 13 celebs you didn't know celebrated Ramadan. S- So this is kind of a Hollywood Bollywood segment about celebrities who celebrated Ramzan. Meher Shala Ali, the Moonlight actor, hailed as the first Muslim Oscar winner when he picked up last year and this year's Best Supporting Actor award, has openly discussed his sentiments around being a Muslim in America today. He converted to Islam in 2000, and it's argued that the beanie hat he wore on the 2019 Academy Awards was a play on a traditional jinnah cap. And this was an article from Harper's Bazaar Arabia of April 13, 2021. So this is his picture. And then DJ Khaled, the American Palestinian DJ, is open about his faith, sharing Ramadan Mubarak messages, releasing videos in which he plays the adhan to his son, and revealing he prays and reads the Quran every day. He admits he is usually working or touring during Ramadan, but recently told GQ Middle East, I'll be honest with you, many Ramadan times I'll fast and then I get dehydrated and have to go to the hospital just because I work so hard and try my hardest to fulfill the beliefs. And how beautiful what we fast for is. It's so beautiful what we are doing. And this is DJ Khalid. And then SZA Sa. The singer songwriter grew up in a Muslim household with a conservative father. She has admitted that observing modesty was always important to her growing up, wearing the hijab during her adolescence, and remains a proud and practicing member of the Muslim community. She even shared how she once damaged her vocal cords several years ago trying to sing while fasting during Ramadan. And here she is. Dan Malik, the singer, routinely broadcasts a Ramadan Mubarak message to his followers at the start of the holy month and has previously confessed his pride at being part of the Muslim community. And having grown up surrounded by Islamic tradition, Zan's mother has told the BBC that he has read Quran 3 times. And here he is. Imam Abdul Majid, Somali born Imam, has spoken in the past about her Muslim faith, has revealed the difficulties of reconciling her modeling career with her religion, and often takes the time to share a Ramadan Kareem message with her fan base. Her first book, I Am Iman, discussed her Muslim upbringing in several African nations. And here she is. Mo Salah, the world class footballer, is often hailed as a champion of both Egypt and one of the Muslim community, and can be spotted performing the sujood to celebrate his goal. He is a devout Muslim and observes the fast during Ramadan, famously adhering to his religious routine during the most important football tournaments. And here he is. Halima Aden, our stereotype shattering modest wear queen and the first hijab wearing model to sign to IMG and to grace international runways, Halima has been vocal about her faith, revealing to Harper Bazaar's Arabia that aside from fasting, her biggest challenge during Ramadan is avoiding music. For Ramadan, I try to stay away from all music which can be heard. It means no movies, no television, no nothing, because even commercials will have music. For that month, everybody has something that they want to work on. For me, this month is going to be, for me, the music. What I always do is nasheed. It's halal, so I could replace it with that. And here she is. French Montana. The American Moroccan rapper, whose real name is Karim Kharboch, is a practicing Muslim, observes many Islamic traditions, and has been vocal about topical issues related to Muslims. At 2019's Met Gala, the rapper stayed true to his roots and donned a traditional thobe and gutra complete with printed agal to mark the first night of Ramadan. He posted a snap of his outfit on Instagram, captioning the image Cheek Montana Ramadan Mubarak. Bella and Gigi Hadid. Although the girls may not be fasting this year, they have opened up in the past about how proud they are to be Muslim and to have been brought up with Islamic traditions. Bella, a former Harper Bazaar Arabia cover star, told us in her cover story interview. There was the best day of my life when I went and saw the mosque in Abu Dhabi. I was talking to all of these Arab women and men and finally understanding the culture a lot more than I ever really have. He would teach us about it and we would go and do Eid with my family and we would do Ramadan. I did that since I was a kid. Once I got older, I was working and going to school, so I couldn't fast for as long. My dad is so passionate about it, and that's what kept me very passionate, excited about my roots. And here she is. Muhammad Hadid. The Hadid sisters' father, Muhammad, a proud Palestinian, is a practicing Muslim who has stated that he fasts during Ramadan. He also observes several other Islamic practices and has instilled in his children a sound understanding of their heritage. And here he is. Huda Katan. Iraqi beauty mogul Huda Katan is also taking part in an Instagram initiative called hashtag Month of Good, for which she nominated Adan to motivate people to provide food for families in need. She mentions that this time of year is all about spending time with her loved ones, adding, "My family is the most important thing to me. We do everything together, but during Ramadan, we really take the time to slow down and dedicate more time to appreciating one another." And here she is. So this was a little bit about celebrities, from Harper's Bazaar article, friends. And uh, I just wanted to remind you that these are my two books. Please go and buy these two books and give me an honest review. And through the sale of this book, these two books, I find, and sponsorships, I finance these kind of programs. And for the second book, The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection, I want a movie to be made. So all those Hollywood, Bollywood, Netflix, Amazon, producers, directors, and whoever makes movies, web series, and TV serials, please contact me at Afshan at drafshanhashmi.com. And friends, please give me sponsorship. And just imagine how if you give me sponsorship, your product will be promoted to 300 million listeners, because this program as a docu series is distributed to 300 million listeners. So in a very reasonable price, your product will be promoted. And do contact me at Afshan at trafshanhashmi.com. Have having said that, friends, I will again say Happy Ramadan to everyone, and Ramadan Kareem to everyone, and have a blessed Ramadan. And I will see you tomorrow again in another Ramadan transmission, and that would be at 7:45 p.m. US Eastern Time. Cheers and bye bye.